Today we're going to be working on some savory beans. I love beans. Well, I have not always loved beans as a kid. It was one of my least favorite dishes to eat. I remember my mom making beans, and I used to say, oh my gosh, not beans today. But as I grew older, I grew to love it. I added my own, little quirks in how to make it, and now it's just really one of my favorite dishes to make and to eat. I love it because it's very healthy. There's a lot of health benefits. And, eating beans. And of course, it's not as much calories. So, hey, anything with less calories is a friend to me. So let's get started here. To make savory beans, you're going to need one 16-ounce bag of black-eyed peas. And I'm going to be placing that in a pot. And my resulting beans is going to be spicy with a hint of sweet and very savory. So, there's no way you can make this bean dish and not love it. It's out of this world. So I have my beans in there. I'm going to be placing some water in here. I'm just going to add enough water. I'll say about 4 cups of water to one 16-ounce pack of beans should do. I have some sliced red onions in here that I'm going to be adding. Some freshly sliced red onions. I like using red onions. It has, red onion is sweeter than the regular white onion out there. So I really like to use red onions. And of course, anytime you're cooking with food with color, you have a lot more antioxidants in there. So the health benefits is just so high. It's so good. I am also going to be adding 2 bay leaves. And that bay leaf adds like a nice earthy taste to that beans. And I love bay leaf. It's one of those kind of flavors that you get when you eat. You don't really know what it is. You can't pinpoint it, but it's there. That's your bay leaf in there. Okay, so I'm placing that in there. I'm also going to be placing some beef bouillon, otherwise known as Maggi or Knorr. And then, of course, we're going to be adding our very own bird's eye chilies. It's hot pepper, if you guys don't have the AfroFood brand, but trust me, there's nothing hotter in the market. It's one of my favorites to cook with. And I'm not just saying it because it's mine. Believe me, this is good stuff. So I'm putting about a tablespoonful of that in there. I like my beans really hot. You don't have to go a tablespoon if you don't want to. A teaspoonful will work for most people. I'm looking at this. I need a little bit more water in there. And I'm going to place this on my stove, and I'm going to cook this for about 20 minutes. And I'm going to check to make sure at the end of 20 minutes that the beans is nice and soft, okay? We're going to cover this and cook this for about 20 minutes. While I have my beans cooking, I'm going to start working on my shrimp. Now, shrimp is something that is used in a lot of West African food. And the reason for the shrimp is we like a lot of seafood. It's a nice, smoky, seafood type of taste to the food. So it really adds a lot of flavor to these beans. I have about 2 ounces of the shrimp here, of the smoked shrimp. And I'm going to be placing that in my food processor, get that ground up all the way through. And then in about 10 minutes, I'm going to put that in my cooking beans. So let me set this up well, and then we're going to go ahead and blend that up till it's nice and smooth. Here it goes. Okay, look at that. This is smooth, nice and smooth. Not too smooth. There's some pieces in there. So I like a little bit of pieces of the shrimp in there when I eat my food. So that works for me. Pour that out. And in 10 minutes, I'm going to put that in my beans and let it cook with my beans and add all that flavor to my beans. Well, our beans have been cooking for about 20 minutes now. It's time for me to add some more things in there. First of all, our plantain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this plantain up and add that into our beans. This plantain adds the sweetness, that just element of sweet into that bean dish. Yum. So I'm just going to cut this up into 1.5 inch pieces. I wanted that by the time it's done cooking, it's not all dissolved in there, but there's some plantain pieces in there. So here we go. and I'm not going to place everything in my pot. I'm pouring some oil in there, and I'm going to stir this in. As you can see, that beans is nice and soft, and it's starting, even the peas are starting to break. And as you can also see, the plantain is so soft, giving off all those delicious sweet taste in there. And I'm just adding that palm oil for color. Just drizzle a little bit more in there. Some added color. And I'm going to let this palm oil cook. I don't like to have that raw palm oil taste. We're going to want this to cook for an additional 10 minutes, and it is ready to serve. Now it is time to see how this looks. It looks and smells delicious. So let us go ahead and plate this and see if it's going to taste just as good as I think it does. Just a couple of dollops. And to make it look nice and pretty, I'm going to be placing some chopped cilantro in there for color, and also, you know, because quite honestly it tastes good and it's good for you. Sprinkle some over the top, make it look nice and pretty. Doesn't that look just good enough to eat? And I'm going to be serving this with some bread. Now, any Nigerian that has eaten savory beans will tell you nothing goes better than beans and something called agege bread, which is like the sweet bread. You can get something close to that or something similar in your regular supermarket in the United States. It's called Hawaiian bread. It's very sweet and has the same kind of taste profiles. So yeah, let's try this. It looks and tastes, I'm sure it tastes good. So let's just see how it tastes. This is a definite must try. So remember, anytime you're trying to do anything, think African, do African. From my kitchen to yours, enjoy.